Hello Spider Peeps. Okay, in today's video I'm going to play about with this Baguette from the PiHut. Really cool little board there. But also I'm going to try and get this thing working. So this is one of those things that I bought off AliExpress. I didn't actually have this in an Ali haul video. This is one of those things that you can just buy cheaply with coin and it ends up being delivered without postage. It's pretty cool. As you can see, there's a couple of servos that I got with it there. So this is the object. So it's like a pan and tilt head for a camera. Now I've not got a camera to go on it, but I know what I'm going to try and put on there. But this wasn't that bad, you see. They're £1.36, but I mean, it is just little bits of plastic, so hardly anything. But I upgraded it to this £2.89 one because I got a couple of servos with it to play with. So that's what I'm going to try and build on this video. And then if I've got time, I'm going to try and get this Baguette span up. So let's see what I might need to do with this. So what have we got? We've got 3 pieces. And let's just look at the picture as well to see whether that helps. Oh, assembly display. So this little cross head thing, it looks like the servo might go in there. So if I take one of these servo horns, it looks like it's the cross servo. It looks like that should go in the bottom somehow. I'm probably going to have to cut that. That makes sense. I've got to cut it. Then I wonder if it screws in from the underside. Oh no, it's those screw into that. So I'm going to have to cut that. And it seems to say that. So what's the instructions? So that. Okay. And it looks like there's another servo goes in there, in the middle of it. Well, so I think that has to go in there. Yep. I mean, it's just which way it goes. I think that's the right way. Okay. So that pushes together. And then that will go in there. And then this thing, how does this bit fit on? Ah, look, so there's another servo. So it looks like that could go through there like so. And I'm just looking at this. So this servo mounts on this bit like that, I think. I'll screw these in a minute. Yeah, that's it. And then that goes through there. So let's connect these on. Looks like it's machine screws to hold this bit. I always find with machine screws, it's much better to put them in with a machine. I mean, there's a reason for that, isn't it? But I find something that's, oh no, that's split. Oh well. But I find something like this, if you turn it with your own hand, you're more likely to make it not go in straight. Okay, so that's split there and there, unfortunately, but maybe a blob of hot glue, super glue, will solve that. In here now, oh dear, that's going to be hard, look. Let's hope I can get this in without breaking it. I think I'm going to have to take these out and redo them. This might be the end of the video. My tapered reamer. Yay. So this will just open it up a little bit. I love this thing. You hardly have to do any pressure whatsoever, but look, it's just cut a little bit off the inside of that. Look at that. That's all I needed. Right. Oh no, I've put that servo on the wrong way. Fleep. Okay, so that was a palaver. Let's get these servo horns in. I just put a little bit of super glue in those as well, hoping that it might go through into these holes and keep this all stable. And this is where I discover that I've put the servo horn on wrong, but anyway, let's try it. So let's pop that on there, that should fit in. Yeah, I'll just put some glue on the back of this as well, where this splits slightly. Alright, so I think that is what I need. So hoping, I've still got to find the one to go in the underside of that. Let's see whether one of these smallish ones goes in it. I'll pop that one in, try that. Well, it's gone in, it'll hold it in there. It's not exactly the right one, but I think I've managed to lose the correct one, never to be seen again. No worries. So there is my pan tilt. It's not zoom, there is my pan and tilt head. Okay, let's set up the baguette now. My soldering iron tip has sort of had it, look, sort of worn away in the middle. That's the trouble. I think I did buy some quite cheap tips, and maybe if I use them to burn plastic it takes them out. Let's get rid of that one. And I've got a nice new shiny screwdriver tip. Let's pop that on there. Oh yeah, while that's warming up, I'll get my tip tinner and try and season the tip. That looks lovely. Right, so this is the baguette board, and I'm going to need to solder it in like that so that it can go in a breadboard. I've got a breadboard here. Let's just pop this board, these pins in here anyway. That gone in? Yeah. And then I'll get some nice flux. Oh, there we go, it's coming out now, and gone all over the breadboard, which is frustrating. Well, that came out lovely. All right, pop that on there and do similar again. This should be incredibly nice and wet solder. And let's just do the top one, number 42, and then make sure that that is nice and level. And do the same with ground, which will take a bit more heat. There we go, and I can go up now. Hey look, do you remember this? You can watch a video about that here. Alright, so let's just put this in here again. In fact, I'll use the other side. Oh, and hopefully all of these are soldered perfectly, and I think they are. Okay, so let's plug that in. I know on the previous video I didn't actually plug it in. I have put a little sketch on it now, so hopefully we can get some response from this. And it should light up the RGB LED. Yeah. So normally when you plug it in, you get the blue power light come on. That's all the time. But notice that my RGB there, let's give you a blurred close-up of it. There's the blue. And then the RGB, I've put a little sketch on there that changes the RGB colour at a random interval between 5 seconds and 10 seconds. So this is just Arduino programming on this so far, which works pretty smoothly. Let's just show you the sketch that I did for this. Alright, so this is the Baguette from PiHut, and if we scroll down somewhere, there is a online guide for it, which is pretty good. So I've used this to do the original setup. So the interesting thing on this, what we need really to do this program, is this RGB LED and what pin it's connected to. So I think if we scroll down far enough, there we go. So it says to use the Adafruit library, and it says to connect it to pin 8. Let's go to my Arduino sketch. So this is importing the NeoPixel library. This is for doing strings of NeoPixels, and this isn't a string, it's just a single one. So number of pixels is 1, and it's on pin 8. This is all standard NeoPixel stuff. I've got a brightness factor here so that it's not too bright, so everything is multiplied by that as we go through it. And this is the interval. This is to work out 5 seconds or 10 seconds for the random time. So we set RG and B variables, and this unsigned long to hold the time that we're going to wait. So this sets up the colour. So set random colour. It picks a colour between 0 and 256, which would give us the colour for each RGBs, and then it multiplies it by that factor, so it's only 15% brightness. We go into the setup. There's some jiggery pokery, sets up the clock. Ignore that really, but this is the important bit. So pixels begin, get a random seed, set random colour, which calls this, and the random seed is based on the microscopic changes in the analog pin. It's based on noise, which I always think is quite cool. And then it works out a random number between the minimum interval and the maximum interval of seconds. So then we go into the loop, clears all the pixels. It's got this thing in to set all of them, but we're only really setting one. This is programmed with string in mind, as I said already, and then it shows it and then does the delay. Fiddles about with it, gets the next change time, so that every time it changes it's a slightly different delay time, and that's what gets this pin working. A few things when we program in this: we need to go to the board, check what the port is. So on this one, it knows already it's the ESP32 family device, and then I went to ESP32 here and checked that it was 32S3, which is this version. There's a little bit of things you have to do with the board manager as well to set this up, but you can find that on the PiHut. It tells you here how to set up your Arduino for ESP32. It's quite simple now on the modern Arduino IDE. Yeah, well, actually, this isn't the modern Arduino IDE. I think they've just produced a new one for their new RISC board. There's a board that's like got a Unix processor on one side and then the Arduino on the other side, so that you can have a real-time system running your microsystem. So that's quite cool, but a bit too complicated for me to get my head round. See, now, is there anything about servos on this page? No, nothing on that on this particular page. So I'm going to try something different. I noticed the other day that GitHub had Copilot on it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this sketch. Okay, so I'm going to go to GitHub and I'm going to say following Arduino sketch uses the Adafruit NeoPixel library to flash an onboard RGB LED on pin 8. I've got no idea whether this will do this. I want to modify this program so that it also drives a micro servo. 2 micro servos independently, sweeping these through 180 degrees. I have got no idea whether this is going to work. What do you reckon? Is this going to work? I have no idea. I was definitely thinking about it. So this is really interesting. What it's done is there's a gotcha in this, a blocking delay, which I wouldn't know about, and it has programmed around that so it doesn't stop the near pixel stuff. Okay, so wow, that's written a long program. I mean, what can I do? Let's just go. Oh, hang on, let's use the copy key up here to make it work properly. So copy code to new sketch, paste that in there. So what's it loaded at the top? So it's got the NeoPixel, but it's also got the servo library. Okay, that's what we want. So just using that, and then it's doing its own servo one. So there's the angles and the direction. Start opposite, so motion looks independent. That's cool. Otherwise we wouldn't know, would we, that they were independent. Update servos. I don't know. I think I just need to. I mean, it's done an awful lot of this, hasn't it, for me? It's done a lot of the work. And will it work? I don't know. Will it even compile? Where do we set the servos? Oh, there you go. Servo pin 9, servo pin 10. Okay. So will that flash up to my Baguette? Should do. Well, it's compiling. Oh. Okay, have I forgotten to set the board correctly? ESP32 S3, that's right. Okay, so that doesn't work. So I've copied that. Let's go back in. Okay, thank you. When I try to compile the Arduino IDE, gives the following error. Can you suggest a fix? Am I going to run out of my my GitHub tokens doing this? I don't know. Okay, so the compiler error comes from using AVR servo library on an ESP32. The fix is to use a ESP compatible servo library. Okay, right, in the Arduino IDE, open Tools, Manage Libraries and install ESP32 Servo. Okay, cool. Let's go to Tools, Manage Libraries. That's just off the screen there, and type ESP32 Servo. Was it that? ESP32 Servo. Several, but let's just install that one and see whether that works. Okay, that's installed. Back to GitHub. Make sure the pins chosen are available. Well, we think they are. Recompile, paste the full compile here. All right, so, okay, so let's get rid of that first one. And then this one, copy, back into my code, paste it in there. And let's try and compile that this time. Looking promising. Right, so I assume that's working, but we don't know. We've got to connect it up, haven't we? Okay, so let's set the red. That's easy to begin with. So the red there, that should go to the 3 volts, I hope. So let's set that to the 3 volts there. And the ground is there. And I'll set that to the ground, which I'm going to hope is brown. And then the signal, can't stop the signal. The signal goes to, which one was the signal again? It was 9 and 10. There's not a 9 and 10. Let's change that to 15 and 16. So 15 and 16, and then upload that again. Actually, I think it's safer if I use the bottom servo for this. So let's just pull those out and pop those in there. If I use the bottom servo, then it's not going to go so far that it breaks itself, because this will just spin round. Let's zoom out a bit. And this one, so let's plug that in 15 and see what happens. Oh, that was, oh, I've still got it in the wrong one after all that. The wrong one moved. Okay, just put it back in the original one, but that looked very promising because it did actually work. I accidentally touched it on 15, so let's pop that in 15, and here we go. So all I need to do now is work out how to control that top one as well without it going out of its range and breaking. But yeah, there you go. So that's the new Baguette. That's this little pan tilt head. I suppose the next thing to do is to put a camera on this and get it to follow something. But that's for another video. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it interesting, and interesting to see how AI can program for you. Isn't that cool? All right, see you next time. Don't forget to like or subscribe. Bye. Stop, you're getting tangled. Stop it. Stop. How do I stop this then? Reset. No! What you going too far now? Ah! There you go.